Yeah. Well, welcome to the 5-Day Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra, broadcasting from Tulum, Mexico. I think we have 2 or 3 more academies, Thursday academies, before my European tour starts, which I will be going to Frankfurt, Germany, and then Hamar, Norway, and then the last destination is Częstochowa, Poland. Um, Today, we're going to talk about the topic of healing, healers, healing work, and also I'm going to be doing a healing ceremony and doing transmission and send the healing and love to all of you and all of our brothers sisters around the world, and especially the ones who are tuning in and they're connected with us and they're watching our broadcast. The this There's a notion around the world among most people, uh, especially if they're attracted to the healing energy and healing work, that they have to learn how to become a healer. And most of us don't realize that we have been doing healing work uh, most of our lives. And also, so we're all healers, and it's a part of our makeup. It's impossible that we can deviate from it. Now, your profession could be healing, being a healer, and you can have an attraction to it and you would like to follow it and pursue it in order to um, advance yourself in this work. But as far as natural healing, it's something that we've been doing it ever since naturally. Also, our bodies, they heal themselves. If I cut my finger, the body begins to heal itself as long as the environment is correct. uh, Healing process is related to the environment. It requires environment. If the environment is not um, supporting the healing process, healing does not happen. For example, if I cut my fingers, and then I keep working with my hand, or I'm just putting my hand in the dirt, or somehow I'm just washing dishes or washing clothes or whatever, then I've created an environment that healing cannot happen, because I'm continuously using my hands or fingers and putting my hands in water, or I'm washing dishes or I'm washing clothes with it. So it really slows down the process of the body to heal the wound. So that's why if we cut ourselves, we bandage it, or we put something around it, and we're trying not to uh, aggravate the wound so it can heal. Similarly, with healing work, uh, is the same thing that happens. That's why maybe we take classes or courses, or we go to people who have been doing this. They figured out how to teach it, or they're professionals in what they're doing. Is they also create the environment for the healing work. It's an environment that we have to create. So it's the same thing. For example, certain viruses or bacterias, they only grow in certain environments. If you change their environment, they cannot grow. So maybe they're receptive to cold weather, and in cold weather they thrive. Maybe they're receptive to heat. So if it's hot, warm, hot, they're thriving. So the same thing for our own process. When we enter into this spiritual world and we're doing the spiritual work consciously, then we need to also be aware of creating the environment for ourselves, either by joining the communities that they're like-minded, so there's the reflection comes back, or the type of teachers or friends that we choose and we're around, that they're also in the same vibe, so we do have that support and the environment for our own growth. So it all makes sense. The the very foundation of any sort of doing healing work, uh, it really comes from, number one is coming to this place of loving ourselves. You love yourself, you accept yourself, you're not in this constant judgment of yourself. And so, because when we're in this battle of our own selves, I don't love myself, I don't like myself, I hate myself, then now what happens is you're into this contracted field instead of expansion. So then the energy is not flowing and it's not authentic, because ultimately love heals. It is the power of love that does the healing work. And if there is no love in my heart, specifically within myself, then the transmission is incomplete. So understanding that, and then when you do love yourself and you're in this settle down in the presence of yourself, you have settled down in the presence of Her Majesty, the Supreme Being. You're settling down with God, and you feel the presence of the Creator. Now, some people maybe don't like the word God, and when I say God, naturally some people are connecting it to religion, and they some people may just rejecting it, because when they think of God, they're thinking about structure, religion, somebody's telling you don't do this, don't do that, and guilt and shame. That's not what I'm referring to when I speak about God. I'm talking about the love, the presence, the consciousness, the that power that has created the world, that intelligence that makes this planet to turn around itself, and turn around the sun and not collide with other planets. That intelligence that is operating our bodies. When I eat something, I eat some food, and the food goes down my esophagus, everything automatically starts to work on its own. The digestion process begins. When I'm sleeping at night, my heart is working on its own. The digestion system is working on its own. Everything, all the nervous system, everything's working on its own. You don't need to operate it. So it has its own intelligence. Okay? Then, as far as I said, and I say this regularly in my training programs when it comes to healing, is when I have my healing training programs, it's nothing that when I look at it, nobody is, I'm not teaching anything to anybody. I'm reminding our participants of what they already have it inside themselves. When it comes to the healing work, you're not learning anything new. You're remembering your own ancient wisdom, because this wisdom is already within yourself. So I give you an example, okay? So part of that example is a lot of times different sections of a healing work is touch. Maybe when you're doing healing, you put your hand on someone, okay? So, or maybe you're just rubbing a section. Depends what you're doing. Or maybe you're doing like, you're moving the energy, right? With somebody. Okay. Well, anybody's have children, or anyone who's got parents, that when, let's say, your 6-year-old, riding her bicycle, she falls down and she hurts her hand or something, what do? You do this, you kiss the part that it's hurt, maybe you blow in their hand, and then they start smiling and laughing and their pain is gone. Or maybe you pick up your child and hold it in your arm and you're just doing some lullaby and you're just gently singing or humming for your child, and your child gently falls asleep. That's already healing work. Or the part that the child falls down, or they hurt their hand or their knee, and you're just putting your hand on their knee, or you're just gently moving your hand and you're kissing it, you're holding it, and then they feel better. Or if you have an elderly mother, you go see your mother and you hold your mother in your arms, or your sister, your brother, your friend. You're holding them in your arms and you're giving them love, and they automatically begin to feel better. Are you, so far we're good? Yeah, any questions? No. So you're already doing healing work, but it hasn't been put in a way like this for us to recognize it, because we think that I have to be this great amazing healer, or must have been in a lot of courses or training, or I don't have it, somebody else has it. That's not true. We all have born with this power. It's universal. It's a part of coming into this planet to have these abilities, and we have it. Now, like anything else in life, maybe it's not an area you're interested in and you don't resonate with it, and that's fine. There's no problem with it. Or you have resonance to it and you like to advance yourself. So you start educating yourself and learning more about it. And of course, you learn techniques or methods, and you improve and you get your practice. Practice is important, and then we go to the next level. But the very essence of the healing ability is A, your body is continuously healing itself. B is that we already have done the work. We've done sound healing by doing humming or by singing lullaby to our children. That's sound vibrational healing. We've done energy healing. We already did it. We've done hands-on healing. And even in sports, when two athletes, let's say they're playing basketball, somebody shoots the ball, they make a score, or they in football they score, and then people come and high five, right? That's, or you come and pat the back of your friend or someone's butt, it's a tap, like right on. It's an affirmation, but that's a kind of healing by just doing high five or just tapping someone, well done. That's a kind of transmission of affirmation of positivity. That means it's love. You're giving love. Or wishing someone well. You're wishing them well. You're holding that person in your heart. They're going through hard times and something is happening in their lives, and you're holding them in your heart and you're sending good energy to them. That's healing work. Any questions so far? No questions. So it's something we've already have it inside ourselves, and with the right direct instructions, we can enhance this. We can take it into the next level, and of course, practice makes things perfect. So that's also a part of our path, is that when we enter into this, we can practice it and we can transmit it. And as we go forward, there are parts that sections in the healing world. There are things like we need to cultivate within ourselves. But these things that I'm about to tell you, we're cultivating it within ourselves, is not only for a healer. Someone wants to be a healer or doing healing work. It's general. For example, if I'm a person who's operating from fear and anxiety, then the healing field contracts. When you're in fear and anxiety, then there's contraction. Because number one is nothing is separated from anything in this existence. Everything is connected to everything. And nothing can happen in existence without cooperation of total existence. Everything has to cooperate with everything for anything to happen in life. It's a chain of cooperation of different things. For example, when you go sit in your car, you start your car and you're driving to go to supermarket to buy something and come back home, your car has to cooperate. It needs to work that day. The battery of the car needs to work. The starter needs to work. the transmission has to work, the brakes need to work, the steering wheel has to work. So those things have to cooperate. Then you're driving, the weather has to cooperate. Maybe there's a huge storm and now you can't. The traffic has to cooperate. Maybe there's a car accident and now you're stuck in the traffic. The traffic lights need to cooperate. So you're not driving, passing a crossroad when your light is green, and then the opposite, the crossing lane gets the also green light. There's a digital error in the system, and then the two cars collide. So everything, your body has to cooperate. You want to go do shopping, and all of a sudden you suddenly get this horrible pain in your stomach. Horrible. It's like, really. So what are you going to do? You pull over, and or you don't go. You just wait till the pain is gone. So everything is connected to everything. It's a field. It's a unified field that things are connected in that field to each other. And nothing will happen without agreement of other parts of this field. So we learn to become the field. It's really, really important to understand it, that from working as a person, doing a personal healing work, is to pull back and work as the field, not as the person. And then the power of healing is thousands of times more powerful, because it's not a person healing, it's the whole existence is operating. You see that? Yeah? Does it make any sense so far? Right, great. So I wanted to just give you a rundown about this work, how it works, which, maybe next week I get into it more in details and go a little bit deeper into it. This week we decided that we're going to talk about this a little bit, and as well as doing some actual healing work here. And before I start the work, is people have asked me this many times, that how come, why is it that when I'm doing the distant healing, I'm working here thousands of kilometers away from other people, and why do they feel it? Why is it that they feel the distant healing? Why is it that because there are a lot of people think like healing, it has to be local. You have to be there and they have to be there, and you put your hands on them, you have to be in the same room. That's the general thought. Or when I do psychic surgery, what is it that, what happens that I have this ability of pulling things out or clearing things out of their body, physical body, I mean in the etheric, energetic world, and what is it that all of a sudden has such an immediate impact? Why am I am in, I don't know, in Poland or Germany or Norway or Sweden or the US, and you're doing this work, and I go to this trance state, and I go into this very calm and loving place, and maybe my pains and aches disappear, or my emotional issues or physical issues, whatever that is, psychological stuff, they disappear, Zarathustra. Well, first of all, we have to understand that this distant healing works because it's non-local. It's not local. So because the field, everyone's connected to the field, and it's been proven in quantum physics that they have practiced like two particles are together and they are cooperating with each other and they're mimicking each other, and then when they are separated, they continue cooperating and mimicking each other. The connection is not cut by not being in the same place. It's already scientifically proven. So distant healing works if you understand the presence and you're able to rise your vibrations to a higher frequency. By rising your vibrations to a higher frequency, what happens that the healing field opens up for you and you have access to it. And when that happens, it doesn't matter if we are with the person or we're not with them. The healing energy and the power is the same, and it works the same way as if you're together in the same room. So I just wanted to explain that part because I have a lot of people asking me questions about this topic, and I felt like explaining it, why it's working, or why psychic surgery works. Because the psychic surgery, it works because the form is arising from the field. The human form is an object that appears in the consciousness. Once you understand the consciousness and you become one with it, then human form is another object that appears to it, and of course you're connected to it. So we'll get into a little bit deeper. I may be confusing you right now by going in this area. All right, so for the moment, let's just close your eyes. If you feel like it, just kind of sink in, come to your own heart, just come to this heart space and kind of disconnect with what is going on in the world. What's the story of the world? What's happening in the world? Kind of just disconnect from that and just kind of deviate, kind of come back in within yourself. Come back to this place, to your heart, to the love. And go beyond the mind. If you have a hard time going beyond the mind, you can just look inside, look at the stream of your thoughts, and follow them inwards. Just go inside and see where your thoughts come from. And then when you're following your thoughts and you go inside, your thoughts, they disappear. When you tracking down your thoughts to their source, they disappear. going to do a prayer, and then after that, we'll see what will show up and what comes. I bless Ra, the fierce sun's burning bright. I bless Isis Luna in the night. I bless the air, the Horus hawk. I bless the earth on which I walk. You who are the source of all powers, whose rays illuminate the whole world. Illuminate also my heart, so that it too can do your work, your work, your work. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. Let there be peace, let there be peace, let there be peace among all beings of the universe. And we can say the Aho together if you like. Aho! Slowly, slowly. Come back. Slowly, slowly come back. One thing I like to share with you, that there is only one healer on this planet, and that is Her Majesty, the Supreme Soul. God is the only healer that is here. All healings come from God. So for anybody who chooses or it's invited on the path of healing work is surrendering is very important. Humility is very important, and alignment. These are the fundamentals of anyone who does any kind of work as a light worker, or even whether they're doing it professionally or they're doing it as an experientially. It's understanding that the very foundation of healing work is love, and surrendering to what is, being humble, and being in alignment. And then the healing energy flows. It flows naturally. And actually, the less, it's not from doing, it's from being. The less you do, the less you try, the more it flows. The less you take it as a personal accomplishment, the more the field opens up. The field expands. So it's important we understand the fundamentals. And then, of course, we learn the techniques of different way of doing things. But the techniques, they're great. But the very, very foundation of all healings is the presence of God. God heals. The presence of God runs things. And again, when I'm talking about the presence of God, I'm not speaking about religion. I'm not talking about guilt and shame. I'm not saying religion is all about guilt and shame, but I'm not talking about that kind of God that we're used to, that we're afraid, or we think if we do this, we're going to get punished for it. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about the presence, the power, which is here, which is in your heart, which is in your pulse, which your heartbeat depends on it. Your presence depends on it. Like this power that when the trees grow, what makes a tree grow? It's the same power that heals the cell. So let's say there's a cancer cell or there's a damaged cell or whatever that is. There is a power that heals. When you wake up in the morning and you want to get out of your bed, there is an energy, there's a power that helps you get up and walk. There is a current of energy that you're able to open your eyes, that you can chew. Something greater than human ability is at work here. And we surrender to that which is greater, without fear. And then we become the instrument. When we are doing the work, which it's any work, anything you do, you become the instrument. It's like, for example, this is a shaker. But this shaker is just a shaker. If I just put it on the table or whatever, I hold it in my hand, right now, it's just an object. It's not different than this phone. This phone is an object too. This drum is an object. They're all objects, but they have different functions. By themselves, they're just an object. It's a dead object sitting there. But if you know how to use it, then you utilize its qualities to the best. Like the shaker, you're using it to create sound, to create vibration, to create harmony if you're doing it right. If you don't do it right, it can disturb, it can become annoying. But once we understand their functions, by themselves, they can't do anything. The drum doesn't play by itself. You have to play the drum. And the same thing with God is like when you do the healing work or you enter into this realm of teaching or sharing, you become the instrument. Your body, your mind, your being becomes the instrument of God. God is functioning through you and flowing. It's not you doing it, it's the source is doing it. Then you're a lot more powerful, a lot more effective. And also you're detached from the results. You're not invested in any results, whether the person gets healed or they don't get healed. You remain detached from, you do your job, but the results, they come from somewhere else. Whether it's in the karma of the person to get healed, to get better, or it's not in their karma. Some people's karma in this life is to have health issues or emotional or psychological problems, and nothing can ever change that. That's their destiny. But we just show up and we do our part without any attachments to what's going to be the outcome. And then everything flows. Everything just flows. We're at the we're end of our academy time. Does anybody have any questions? Do you feel like sharing something, or anything with me, you can unmute yourself and ask me questions if you like. Or
thank you so much for your healing.
You're welcome. Thank you for
I
being.
hope my voice will come back soon.
Yeah. If you feel like saying anything, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you for your energy you sent. It filled the room. It filled our hearts. It was great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There is one point we didn't hear the drum
and the shaker.
There was
Right.
nothing to hear from it.
Right. Okay. The sound got disconnected.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
For the next week.
I don't know what happened. I know Monica is having problem. Monica Merkland having problem keeping her screen, the video stream. So I think it gets disconnected continuously. So
it's the
high energy.
You know,
I have a new computer. I don't know if it's something with the computer.
Yeah, again, it's like, who knows, it's like, if something doesn't want to cooperate, it's not cooperating. All right, today the wires, the computer, they don't want to cooperate. When I talk about the level of everything is connected to everything, it's here we are. It's like everything has to say yes for a simple academy webinar to be broadcasted. But it's not that simple. There's got to be electricity, connections have to work, computers have to work, the screens have to work. Nothing funny happens here. Suddenly, maybe there's fire or fire alarm, or maybe something's happening at your place and suddenly something happens there. I mean, everything has to cooperate for us to be able to sit here together for 1 hour. But our tendency is to say, oh yeah, I decided to go and be a part of Zarathustra's 5D Academy today. It was my decision to do it. But we're not paying attention that our body had to say yes, electricity had to be there, internet had to be there, equipment had to work. Nothing funny happens to your home, nothing happens to your body, nothing happens to your family. You don't get a phone call suddenly hearing like someone close to you had an accident and now you have to go take care of them. You're not going to stay here. Everything has to cooperate hand in hand, and then the environment has to be correct. So it's a field. And understanding the field, falling into it, becoming one with it, then it just changes everything. You go into the next level. For those of you who's watching this broadcast and are not a part of our academy or Zoom academy, letting you know that I'll be traveling to Germany, Norway, and Poland and offering different kind of workshops, healing ceremonies, Kundalini activations, and 5D quantum healing training program. I am teaching it this spring in Europe. So feel free to reach out. My website is zarathustra.tv and our email is info@zarathustra.tv. Yes, Susanna, go ahead.
I want to say something in German for maybe later listening and looking German language people.
Okay.
For the Austrians, the
right.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Ich möchte alle, die im deutschen Sprachraum zu Hause sind, einfach auch nochmal darüber informieren, dass Zarathustra am 5. und am 6. März bei uns im Raum Frankfurt ist. Wer interessiert ist, auf Zarathustras Webseite ist unsere E-Mail-Adresse, unsere Handynummer. Fühlt euch frei, uns anzurufen. Dann können wir euch informieren und alles, was angeboten wird an den Abenden, in deutsch übersetzter Information zu euch schicken. Danke.
Danke.
Well done. So I know there's a lot of things happening in the world right now. There's a lot of noise and stuff. There's a lot of fear is created, especially in Middle East, at the Gulf. There's a lot of stuff. And my suggestion, first of all, we're sending our prayers to our brothers, sisters in that area. Hopefully there won't be any kind of war or conflict. I hope, God willing, nobody gets hurt. I hope the situation gets resolved. Sending our prayers to all sides. They're all our brothers, sisters, whichever side they are, it doesn't matter. And also for us who do this work, don't fall into the fear. Don't fall into the narrative, the story you're hearing in the media, in the news. It just creates anxiety and fear. Just come back to your heart. Come back here. When that happens, instead of falling into all these world stories, oh my God, the Third World War is coming. This is going to happen. That is going to happen. It just disconnect from that story and come back to the heart. Come back here. Come back to your meditation. Because the moment you come back to yourself, to this moment, everything quiets down. Everything disappears. And you come back to your essence. You come back to the presence of God, which is love. Love wins everything. Love cures everything. And when you come back to your center, you remember who you are. Then all these stories evaporate and go away. And in the midst of the chaos, our job is to stay centered. Our job is not to fall into the story and become like everybody else, is panicking and worried and angry and anxiety. It's our job is to hold your post by coming back to your center and just being a Buddha, being Zen, coming back into being centered, being collected, being silent, being this mountain that nothing can shake it, because we are doing the work. And then there's a moment in life that the work needs to be demonstrated. We have to walk our talk. It can't just be blah, 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 blah. We have to live the teachings and demonstrate it. And then it will, so you become an anchor in your household, in your community. So it mellows things down by your presence, because you're not falling into the story. You're staying in your center, which is love, self-love, the love of God. Being grateful for everything we have. Being grateful for our health, for our mental health, for physical health, your wellness. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to be in front of millions of people to have an impact. Your impact starts from your home, from your room, from wherever, from your living room. That's where the impact begins, by being centered. A butterfly can create create a hurricane. How could a butterfly create hurricane? Because the butterfly flapping its wings and it's going like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and these vibrations begin to accumulate and become more powerful and more powerful, and it all comes from a butterfly, a little tiny butterfly. It's clapping its wings and it creates the ripple effect. So in a world that there is a lot of chaos and darkness and a lot of blah 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 uncertainties, this is the time for us to be the Buddha. This is the time for us to be centered. And your presence will impact your environment and it brings calmness. Okay? Nice seeing you all. Looking forward to connecting with you. I love you. Any last questions for me before we finish our academy? No. Thank you for your presence and look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Brothers, sisters on Facebook, YouTube, thank you for joining me and I look forward to connecting with you.